Hello, everyone. I need to kind of figure out Facebook. Oh, hi, everyone. Good evening. I'm just going to give a few minutes before I dive into what I want to talk about, just to see inside, just to see who comes on and hang with me. Okay. I'm just checking the quality as well, just to see if the sound is okay. Yesterday we did. Okay, great. Hi, somebody's on with me. Awesome. Wonderful. Welcome. So, my name is Joanna Daniel, and I work with adult survivors of childhood trauma. And I want to talk today about relationship with self. So, I help people to have better relationships even after experiencing trauma. I'm going to talk about what trauma is another day, but today I want to talk about relationship with self because I was reflecting earlier and I thought, we're in a lockdown, most countries, most town cities, we're in a lockdown. We're not able to move about as we wish. Lots of people are working from home now. We're not able to see friends and people the way we normally see them. The same activities and noise that we used to drone out our thoughts, that isn't around anymore. And I just wondered, what do you do now? Like, how are you with you in this period? And I know that sometimes that can be a challenge because we're not used to being with ourselves. In terms of history, I mean, not many people who are alive now have lived through anything like this. This is kind of new for all of us. And so we're learning how we're forced into the situation where we're having to learn how to have relationships with ourselves, with our partners, with our children, and just with the people who we live with. And if we were kind of like ships passing in the night and we never connected, this period is going to be very difficult. And likewise with ourselves, if you've never allowed yourself space to kind of sit with you, to listen to your thoughts, to connect with your thoughts, to listen to how you feel, not just in your head, but also in your body, and to be able to connect with that, this period will be really challenging. So I just wanted to come and talk about that. Like, how do you feel about you now and the thoughts that you're experiencing, and what are you doing about it? Because sometimes that can be really uncomfortable. Sometimes when we think about us, it can be really, we're shifting uncomfortably because we don't like to be with ourselves and be with our thoughts. Now, there's a reason why. There's a reason why that will be a problem. There is a reason why, and as you know, as I said, I worked with childhood trauma. We work with things that have happened in childhood, the challenges that we've had, and that would be where we learn it. Some of the reasons why we might not want to be with ourselves would be the negative messages that we've heard, those messages that we've internalized, we've taken on, we've believed them. And so there's all these lies, I'm going to call them, that it litters our lives. These negative messages that we've given, the things people say to us, the things people say about us, the careless words that were used to describe us and to define us, because sometimes those words define us and tell us who we are, the circumstances of our birth and the families that we grew up in, and the things that we tell ourselves about those things, the part of town that we grew up in and where we lived, and what sometimes society, like in terms of our environment, the village that we were raised in, the community that we grew up in, the town that we grew up in, because they know who we are. Sometimes society dictates how you should feel about you, and sometimes we embrace that identity, we take it on, and we try to live it. And that's not really who you are. That's not who you are at all. Um, Society might define you as your family's name, or your experiences, the things you did, or how you performed in school, where you lived, how you lived, and you grew up and that defines you, and then you've not given yourself space to really think about that and wonder, well, who am I and who do I want to be? And that's why I'm asking, what's your relationship like with you? Because if you've not allowed yourself the space to think through that, then you're really doing yourself a disservice, because who you are probably is completely different from what has been reflected to you your whole life. And if you give yourself the permission to kind of sit with you and to really reflect on that, and sometimes who we who we allow ourselves to be defined by doesn't mean that we're not excelling, because I know people who excel to the pinnacle of career ladders and build empires and build businesses and do amazing things, but still at the heart, at the root, they're uncomfortable with who they think they are. And because they're so uncomfortable with who they think they are, it's still, there's a shadow in their lives. There's a shadow in their lives. And I'm saying this is true for people in, you can think of the career. It doesn't matter. It's when you're uncomfortable with who you think you are, because you've allowed the other people to define you, and you've allowed how you grew up or what people say about you to define you, then you'll become uncomfortable with yourself. But when you allow yourself the space to fully get to know you, to embrace you, and to settle into that, then you'll be fine. The noise can stop, the music can stop, everything can be quiet and peaceful and still, and you'll be still happy with who you are. That your internal messages, your internal voice, your self-talk will reflect how you feel about you. And so I'm inviting you on that journey as we do our 7 days challenge starting on Monday. It's for women who are ready for that level of growth, women who are ready to step out and to stand in power in their story, women who are ready to not allow anything or anyone else to define them, not where you lived, not who you are, not what happened to you, not what you did, not anything to define you, but really to sit with other women who are ready to make those kind of moves. And when I do this one to one with people, it's usually mind blowing. To sit with, well, who am I? And let's find that out together. Let's do the process together. Because you see, when you do that, then it helps you to have the kind of relationships that you want to have, the kind of relationships that you dream about, the kind of relationships that you promised yourself. It will enable you to be able to do that. It will be able to enable you to stand and be at peace with yourself, because you've done the work to get you to the place where you can shed all the lies, where you can stop the negative messages, where you can tune out the voices that are critical, the voices that are judgmental, the voices that are not aligned with who God says you are or who you've come to know yourself to be. And so join us on that journey, because it's really going to be deep, impacting, connecting journey where we will send you prompts every day via email, and I will be with you like this in Zoom, not on Facebook, in Zoom, where you can ask questions and we will help you to begin to process and to connect with really who you are. So it's kind of like in search of self to some extent, in search of self, so we can settle in and fully appreciate and love who you discover. So I hope I'll see you in the training. I'm going to put the link in the comment section of this video. We already have, I think, almost 20 women, join us. We're trying to get 100 women to be able to take 100 women on that journey of self-discovery. So journey with us. Let us have a safe space, a safe community where we can be free to be ourselves, and we can, discover ourselves together, because it's in relationships that these things happen. We do it singularly, individually, on our own. Yay. So glad you'll be there with us, Debs. Really glad you'll be there with us. It's, self-discovery is not a journey that we can do on our own. We cannot do it on our own, because the interpersonal things that happen to us happens in relationships. And so it's in relationships that any healing, any discovery, any growth has to happen with another person beside us. So let us create a safe space where we can all learn from each other, where we can all grow, and we can all, become the kind of people that we were meant to be. So I hope I'll see you there. Thank you so much for joining live. And for those who watch the replay, just let me know if you have any questions about it. Feel free to send me a message or to comment below this video, and I'll be happy to answer your questions. Thank you for joining. I'll see you soon.